What's up, everybody? Sorry for the late ass review, but my ass been out all day just living it up, having some fun. Um, Getting into this episode of GH though, this was a mess, like a doozy. Um, I gotta hand it to Spencer. You know what I'm saying? Like Spencer is really stepping up. You know, he did whatever he could to save Trina from this. You know, even at the expense of his own freedom. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew that he had to do the right thing. You know, he can't always take the easy way out. He got to sometimes do the right things, you know? Because Diane was killing it. Diane was like, throwing it out there. She was like, how many teens, how many of you were in the cabin? And he was like, it was just five of us. There was no staff, no maid service, no neighbors. There was nothing. Like, she was basically saying it had to be somebody in the cabin. And Spencer confirmed that. Um, he confirmed that it was only them in the cabin. He was like, the only person who could have done it was Esme. So he completely threw Esme under the bus. He was doing whatever he could to protect Trina. And then he talked about the fact that he, skipped out of Spring Ridge and he bribed a guard or whatever to get out, and Trina was with him at the cemetery, because she was working on a project for PCU. And Diane told the judge, he was like, I'm, finding proof right now of the project that Trina was working on to prove that she was working on a project during that time. Um, so Spencer, I felt like he did a good job on the witness stand. I really did until ADA Arden came up in there. When the ADA came up, she pretty much put it out there that there's an app that allows you to set a timer for an email. So if you were to send something out, it would be timed. And she proved it by setting up a timer for an email for Diane and the judge, which they got at that very moment. Um, she played a very good hand. I will give her that. Like, she definitely played a good hand with that timed email. But I do agree with Diane. There's no proof that the video was sent on a timer. There's definitely no proof of that. I feel like at this point, I know, Spencer's upset that he feels like, he did the best he could to get Trina off, but it may have been for nothing because that may have not worked. But my thing is, that was a stand up thing for him to do because usually Spencer is he's selfish and all about himself. But he really threw himself and Esme under the bus to get her off. Um, Diane's next play at this point, I think, will be to have to call Trina to the stand. Like, Trina's going to have to be her own star witness at this point. She's going to have to get up there and really speak the truth and speak from the heart about her character. And I think that's a good move, putting her on the stand. She'll come off sympathetic because she really is. She's really a good person. So I think that's the best move that Diane can make now to save her. Now Nicholas done brought his little box head ass up in there talking about, oh, Spencer, I got to talk to you about something that's important. Sir, you want to tell him about this now? Like, he worried about Trina and shit, and you want to talk about you and Esme doing the dippity do right now? Like, at this moment, you need to tell him this? It can't wait until the outcome of the trial. But then again, I could get why Nicholas want to tell him now, because better now than any later when somebody else can tell him, like Ava or somebody. Um, so anyway, speaking of Ava, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That showdown she had with Esme, that was good, but I was expecting a lot more, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. But I gotta admit, Esme was kind of chewing Ava ass up in that first scene. Because Ava came in there all about it, and Esme was like, "How you gonna sit here and throw what I did was with Nicholas in my face when you slept with Sonny while you were with Morgan and you had hate sex with Sonny?" I said, "Damn, bitch." Then she said, you done turned your back on Julie and your own brother, and she said you done turned your back on your daughter after she done slept with your boyfriend. I said, damn. Talk about receipts. Like, she done pulled out the motherfucking receipts. I was like, damn, Esme. Ava was even shocked. Ava was like, where the hell you getting all this information from? Ava said, who the fuck telling you all this shit? But I mean, most of that stuff is public record. I mean, it's mostly public stuff that the world pretty much know about. But then again, we all know that Ryan probably fed a lot of that information to her. And Ava noticed that Esme had that envelope and she tried to snatch it from her, but Esme got it or whatever because she wanted to see what was in it. Um, Ava pretty much had an aha moment because Ava was like, "You jumped at the chance to help Spencer torture me, and you burned my car and left Kiki's ID badge without Spencer's knowledge." Because she knew Spencer knew nothing about it because she could tell by the look in his eyes. Like he can't. He's not a psychopath. He's a lot of things, but a psycho, he's not. This is the mind of a sociopath. And she was trying to figure out like why the hell Esme was coming at her so hard because she was like, I don't even know you. She was like, I didn't do anything to you, so why are you coming at me like this? Um, so she basically told Esme, she was like, listen, this is what's gonna go down. She was like, you gonna march your ass to that courthouse, you gonna exonerate Trina, or she said, I'm gonna make sure don't nobody find your ass. She was basically telling her your ass is about to come up missing. I was happy with the scene, but I was a little bit disappointed because after everything that has happened and the anger that Ava felt, I was expecting a knockout, drag out fight between the two of them. Hopefully, we still get it because I'm expecting major rage out of Ava at this point. I felt like that was a bit mild compared to what I was hoping for. I was like, come on, Ava. You need to jump into bad bitch mode real quick and smack this girl. Like, you need to whoop her ass. I'm just saying, like, all this hell that she done brought on you, whoop that ass. Um, but Esme was giving it to her though. Like she pulled out the receipts on that ass. She said, "Oh, you fucked your boyfriend, daddy." I said, "Damn." Oh shit, almost made me choke. I said, "Lord, Esme." Woo. I said, "Damn, you came with the receipts." She came with a booklet of receipts. I said, "All right." Um. So anyway, moving on from that, Sasha is working my nerve at this point. Sasha is working my fucking nerve. She feels that she doesn't need therapy right now because she talked to Willow, they had a good conversation, and she feels like she's all talked out at this moment. That's all fine and dandy that you had a good conversation with Willow, but I agree with Brando. Willow's not a professional, therapist. You need to talk, you need professional help. You need to talk to a professional. So she wants to skip out on her therapy session. Mind you, this is the first one. That's not good. I feel like Sasha never wanted to go to therapy. I feel like she never wanted to. She just said all that so she can get on up out that hospital, out that hole, and she could go home and continue to do what she do. She just made that up. I just feel like she was telling Brando and them what they wanted to hear. That's how I felt. Because Brando didn't push about her continuing the therapy that day, like with her first session. He simply told her, like, listen, you need to reschedule, for another day. And she jumped all over him like, oh, you're smothering me. You and Gladys are smothering me. Like, she was just going off on Brando. And Brando had enough. Like, he snapped on her ass. He was like, you know what? Because she was like, oh, people trying to control me. He said, you know what? The way your life's spiraling out of control, somebody need to fucking control you. I loved it. I was like, look at Brando. And the way he was looking at her and the way he snapped on her, I'm just looking at the TV like, Sasha, have you met Ike Turner? The way he was looking and talking to her, I said, shit, any minute now he gonna have your ass rolling on the river in a minute. I said, shit, you better get in line because Ike Turner has entered the building. Um, I totally get it though. Brando is at his wit's end with her. Like, he's sick of her shit. He's watching her spiral out of control. He's trying to be supportive and be there for her, but it's only but so much he gonna take. Like, he knows what she's going through because he's a fellow addict. You know what I'm saying? He's a recovering addict, so he knows exactly what she's going through, and he feels like she needs some help, and she needs to stop refusing it. So now she took it as, oh, you finally said what you really wanted to say instead of walking around on eggshells around me. She took everything he said out of context. Like, he's not trying to control her. He's trying to, be a husband and give her some help. But she keeps rebuffing him at every turn. You know what I mean? It's like, get you some damn help. And now she done stormed out of the damn hospital going down the stairs, and she got a text from Sienna, the girl, the makeup artist, who originally gave her some drugs, talking about, oh, you want to party, you want to meet up or whatever. And, here go Sasha. Oh, where we meeting at? See, this that bullshit I'm talking about. At this point, she needs to hit rock bottom. Sasha needs a wake up call. The only wake up call she gonna get is rock bottom. She needs to lose everything. She need to lose her home. She need to lose her position at deception, her stock. She needs to lose everything. She needs to hit rock bottom, literally the bottom. Because after that, there's nowhere for her to go from the bottom. The only way for the only place for her to go from the bottom is the top. She needs to rebuild herself. She's not gonna get help unless she really wants it. She don't feel like she need it. So my thing is, until she knows that she wants it and she really wants it, she's not gonna get it. No matter what Brando says, she's not gonna get that help. Um, like I said, she just need to hit rock bottom at this point. Sorry to say it, but she do. She just need to hit bottom. That, trust me, I've dealt with drug addicts in my family, so I know she need to hit bottom. Not saying that that's always gonna work, but you know what? Something got to give at this point. And I feel like Brando forcing her to get help at this point is not gonna work. I was rooting for him to step up and maybe force her, but the way it's looking, even that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work because she just sees it as him trying to control her. So you know what? I know it's gonna be hard for him to do, but he's just gonna have to sit back and let her do her at this point, because he done did all he could do. He done talked to her to death about this. He done tried. And I understand Sonny kept trying to tell him, well, keep showing up, keep showing up. It's falling on deaf ears at this point. That girl, she needs a wake up call. She needs it. So anyway, moving on from that, Michael, him and Dex, they are being reckless at this point because Brando done caught their ass on the stairwell, and Michael tried to create a little fake fight to make it look like they beefing still or whatever, and like Dex is harassing him or whatever. Brando, he was suspicious. It looked like he wasn't really buying it. And Michael knows it. He knows he was suspicious because when him and Dex met up again or whatever at the docks, or wherever the hell they were, Michael felt like he was confident that he felt he swayed Brando. Like, he convinced Brando that they were beefing and they got issues. I don't know. Because Brando been suspicious of Dex since day one. And now that he found the two of them in the stairwell together, Brando's not stupid. Like, he ain't that stupid. So, ain't no telling if he gonna put two and two together at this point. I feel like Michael's getting overly confident. He's getting reckless. He's getting overly confident. Because now Brick is on Dex's ass. Because the first time Brick met him was today, and the look on Brick's face, he wasn't feeling him even when he saw him. He wasn't feeling him. I'm going to get on more of that later. But Brick wants to do a background check on him, and Dex is worried about the background check. He's worried about Brick digging into his past. Michael, on the other hand, is not worried about it. Michael's like, listen, I see that as a good thing. Michael was like, oh, I see it as a good thing because that means Sonny's starting to trust you. You're starting to move up into the inner circle. I'm like, Michael, this may not be good for you. I'm just saying, like, it may not be good for Dex, because who knows, if Dex is worried about him digging in his past, who knows what Brick may find. If Dex is worried about it. Because if Dex was sure that Brick wasn't going to find nothing, he wouldn't be worried about it. You know what I'm saying? He'd be just as confident as Michael is, but he's not. And the more reckless stuff that they're doing is these frequent meetups that they're having. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got caught in the stairwell, now y'all meeting face to face again? Haven't y'all ever heard of burner phones and text messaging through burners or something like that? Or calling through a burner phone? Like, I'm just saying, all these face to face, that's not good in that town. Anybody can walk up and see y'all together. You know what I'm saying? And all it takes is for another person to see y'all and be around Brando or somebody and they mention it. That's not going to be good. Like, they're being way too reckless with this. If you want this plan to succeed, you got to be very covert about it. Very. And they're not. They're just being sloppy. So, Brick and Sonny was talking or whatever, and he kept telling Sonny, you need a second in command. Sonny's confident that Dex can be that second in command. I'm like, Sonny, where's your brain? Because Dex, I feel like, is pretty smart. Because as soon as he walked into that gym, he pretty much read the room. He knew Brick pretty much was suspicious of him, and he told Michael that. Like, he knows how to read the room. Sonny, you clearly lost your edge. Because you are not reading this kid right at all. And Brick was definitely reading him. Brick didn't like him. Brick felt like he was too green. He's too flippant. He's cocky. He's arrogant. He's a hothead. You know what I mean? Like, he's sitting there telling Sonny, oh, the cop showed up And Sonny, the look on Sonny and Brick's face when Dex mentioned the police, they looked like, oh, hell no. Sonny was like, you talked to the cops? He said, no, it was your son Dante. Sonny said, I don't give a damn if it was the Pope. What you doing with the cops? And he was like, no, I didn't talk to the cops. He said, I slithered out of there before Dante could see me. I'm like, yeah, but that's risky. That's a bit risky. And Sonny pretty much overlooked it. He was like, I got to thank you for handling, that situation and stuff like that. I'm like, Sonny, you need to open your eyes, brother. You really need to open your eyes. Like, he thanking him for handling the whole Jocelyn situation. Because, he talked to Brick about that and told Brick what was going on. Even Brick was surprised that Jocelyn would record something like that. I'm like, Brick, I understand you've been on the West Coast for the last few months, so you don't know the dynamics right about now. And Brick also gave Sonny an update about the West Coast people. Because remember, Jennifer Smith was working with somebody on the West Coast to take Sonny down. So according to Brick, the people on the West Coast, they quiet right now. Ain't been no movement on that front so far. But he pretty much told him, man, he was like, listen, you can't trust this dude right now. Like, let me do a background check on him. And he was like, I'm not even asking you to do it. He was like, I'm telling you pretty much, I'm doing one. Sonny pretty much sees a lot of Jason and Dex. And I'm like, Sonny, Dex is nothing like Jason. Let's just put that out there. Because he was like, oh, Dex is around the same age Jason was when he came to work for me and stuff like that. And Brick pretty much sees like, yo, this dude is not Jason. And he pretty much warned Sonny. He was like, this generation is different from our generation. He was like, this generation got a lot of growing to do. And Sonny trying to make that excuse, well, our generation had a lot of growing to do too. I ain't even gonna argue with that logic because that's true too. But y'all were a different breed back then. You know what I'm saying? This generation today is they ain't got no morals. They don't care about truths, about business. They don't care about ethics. Even though, y'all run an unethical business, but still, it's still ethics when it comes to the underworld too. It's like certain things you don't do. This generation, they don't give a fuck about that. Sonny need to open his eyes to this shit. It's like, dude, this ain't good. You know what I mean? Like, this is not good at all. So anyway, moving on from that, TJ had to take some more, blood samples or whatever from Willow or whatnot, and Michael interrupted it. Michael and Willow were talking and stuff about how this pregnancy gonna be different for them because at least this time around they could do things different from when Wiley was born. They could actually be a part of the birth, and the birth is gonna be different. I feel like that was foreshadowing. Them being all happy about this baby and how Wiley is only gonna be a few years older than the child, and they're gonna be kind of close in age. I feel like that's foreshadowing to something bad happening, especially with these tests that TJ is running, because he's not telling Willow like what he suspects is going on with her. I do believe it definitely is leukemia at this point because her white cells are elevated and it's not completely normal. And he's not telling Willow yet what he suspects. And when Michael left, TJ was wondering to Willow why she's not telling Michael about this. Like, that something could possibly be wrong. But my whole thing is, how can she tell Michael something could possibly be wrong when she don't know herself what's wrong? I think at this point, Willow doesn't want to alarm Michael until she knows what she's dealing with. And she can comprehend it. And I totally understand. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a different ball game. If Michael knows about it and then they get some bad news, at least this way she can hear it first and she can, take it all in and process it and then tell Michael. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like that's the way that they're going to go with it at this point. You know what I'm saying? She got to figure it out first. But anyway, that was pretty much the whole episode. I enjoyed this episode. I really did. I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was pretty good. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought about it. I will see you all Monday. Hope you all have a great night. Have a great weekend. I will see you all later. Peace.